Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today's video is going to be talking a bit about a handful of different things for Warlocks in patch 11.2. I want to be covering a bit about the Chaos Bolt build, how to play that in M+, a little bit, made a video on that a few days ago, demonic art usage for Diabolist destruction in the raid, which is actually very important. We need to hit on that, because a lot of people are having issues with that right now. Some general gearing questions, crafting stuff, belt questions, a lot of like FAQs I've been getting over the last few weeks I want to answer in today's video and hopefully help you all figure out, well, what you should be doing for your own character. So we're gonna jump right on into it here. I don't want this video to be too long. I will say, shameless plug at the start here, we are pushing for 100k subs on the channel this year. We're at like 95,000 roughly, I think 94.5. If you guys aren't subbed and would consider subbing, that mean the world to me, but if not, it's okay. Love you all the same. But regardless, so the first topic here I want to get into is demonic art usage. And this is the most important thing when it comes to probably this whole video. If you're playing Destruction in the raid, Diabolist Destruction, which is, you know, pretty much, it's the best version of Destro on every fight in the raid, except for Soul Hunters, where you're playing a build like this. Soul Hunters is a crazy fight. I'm not going to get into that. Don't get angry. It's early into the night, but I digress. Most builds of Destro in the raid on fights look like this. Now, you might end up playing a point in Havoc or Mayhem, pulling a point out of Demon Fire Infusion quite often. If you're looking at a fight like Lumathar, it looks something like this. But regardless, though, you're playing Diabolist basically everywhere. And when it comes to Diabolist, demonic art is very important. What is demonic art? Demonic art is part of Diabolic Ritual's tooltip. When Diabolic Ritual expires, you gain demonic art. Casting your next Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, or Shadow Burn, summoning an Overlord, Mother of Chaos, or Pit Lord that unleashes a devastating attack on your enemies. Down here, it says demonic art increases the damage of your next Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, or Shadow Burn by 100%, and the cast time by 50%. The last part of it says casting Chaos Bolt reduces the duration of rituals. No big deal. But the big thing here is the damage amp. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Not editing that out. Now, last year, and I think like even in Nerfed and things, when we were playing Diabolist Destruction, we're still playing Shadowburn now. We were playing full Shadowburn talents. You were casting Shadowburn basically on cooldown when it came to destruction in single target. We are not doing that anymore. You're only casting Shadowburn if you're moving and don't have like a conflict rate to cast. And also, this is very, very, very important, if you do not have a demonic art queued up. You have to, if you want to optimize this, which is very important because it is a large difference right now, you need to have some way to track if you have a demonic art active or basically coming active right when you're moving. If you have an art queued up, you only cast conflict rate on the move. If you don't have any conflict rates, you don't cast anything. You don't want a shadow burned. You don't want to use a demonic art on a shadow burn. It is Chaos Bolt. A lot of that is due to the very, very large bolts or buffs that Chaos Bolt got in 11.2 PTR. Chaos Bolts hit very, very hard. One of the biggest things I've seen when it comes to logs and such this time around is that people are asking, I'm playing Destro right and casting bolts. We have the same cast roughly. He has a few more casts than me of Chaos Bolt. Why is my Chaos Bolt hitting for 2/3 of the value of his when it comes to average cast? So here is our log from last night. This is our Raz kill, whatever. Muffin, yeah, I gotcha. If I'm gonna watch the video, but yeah. So my average Chaos Bolt cast was 12 million. His was 10.25. This is not him over shadow burning. This is just probably me getting a bigger damage amp during the boss burn. Probably likely here, somewhere in here. I don't know. But what I'm getting at is if you're looking at logs, when I've looked at logs, people saying, hey, I need help with this, quite often what I'll look for the first thing is how hard is your Chaos Bolt hitting? Now, obviously, it'll vary a bit based on if you get an Infernal at the end of the fight or if it's coming off cooldown. At the same time, it'll vary a bit on gearing and things. But if you're like 7, 10, 15, whatever eye level, and your average cast is like 7 million, I instantly look for how many Shadow Burns to cast. I cast 14 in this fight. Muffin's cast 7. He cast a lot less than me. He had a lot more Chaos Bolt cast and things too. You can cast Shadow Burn on the move if you don't have a demonic art queued up, but putting a demonic art, basically doubling the damage, Shadowburn's here, sorry, it's behind my camera right there, basically doubling the damage of a Chaos Bolt, or of a Shadowburn, or a Chaos Bolt, you definitely want to double the damage of Chaos Bolt. It hits so much harder. The average cast of Chaos Bolt, 12 million for me. My average Shadowburn cast, 2.71. Now this is inflated a bit by the ritual bolts like being part of this average cast here. It's going to inflate the average cast a bit, but even if Chaos Bolt was hitting for 8 million, Shadowburn's hitting for 2.5. You'd want to buff Chaos Bolt. We're playing Crashing Chaos this tier. You want to use Demonic Arts on Chaos Bolts. You can even see here, like, my max Chaos Bolt was 24 million. I believe that was probably during the damage amp in the fight, I'd assume. Min 3 million, but average was, yeah, 8 million, give or take. And those big ones that were coming in during the damage amp and or ones that had Demonic Arts with Crushing Chaos at the same time from your Infernal, those are hitting really, really hard. Keep in mind, Crushing Chaos, for some weird reason, does not affect Shadow Burn. Even if it did, it wouldn't be a case of wanting to cast Shadow Burn with Arts, but it's very, very important to drive home. You want to use Demonic Arts on Chaos Bolts. Now, the question might be, how do you track this? So my Weak Aura has it here. I've had it for the whole expansion, basically. This right here tracks like your pet cycles, right? Overlord's going to spawn in here. And whenever he does, it's going to give you a minute-long buff whenever it ticks down to 0 here, basically. I'm just getting combat right now. And it will then start glowing, I think. That basically says, hey, I have a Demonic Art active. So if I saw this and I had to move, I'm lagging for some reason, but I had to move and I was running, I wouldn't, oh, I'm desynning, but I wouldn't cast Shadowburn here. I cast Conflict Rates. If I had no Conflict Rates, I wouldn't cast anything because I have a Demonic Ritual ready to go. You can see up here, or Demonic Art ready to go. Cast this Demonic Art. This Chaos Bolt hits for 8 million. So you can see it's exceptionally important to buff your Chaos Bolts with Demonic Arts. Now, I also added a new Weak Aura to, like, it's not part of this Weak Aura pack. I just grabbed it from a Wago I found somewhere when I was digging around. Somebody else made this. Credit to them. I'll put the link down below. I'm using it for a few days now. This also tracks Demonic Arts. This is this. It shows the exact same thing. I feel like this is a bit easier to reference in the fly, like when I'm moving in a raid or whatever. Like, sure, launch a bolt, cool. My Demonic Art got thrown. Now I know in 14, 13, 12, the bar is not depreciating. It's filling in. It's desaturated. I feel like this makes it a bit easier to track comparatively to this, but either way, it's very important to have some way to cast, you know, I can Shadowburn here, for example. Right about here, I know I can't, because I have a Demonic Art queued up. It's very important to have some way to track this if you want to optimize destruction, buffing Chaos Bolts with Demonic Art. So please have some way to do that. My Weak Aura has it here. I'll link this one down below too. Credit to whoever made it. Pretty sick, actually. Second thing here, very briefly, we already talked about it a little bit on stream and stuff, but people are often asking why am I and or others precasting Rain of Fire before a boss is pulled. So let's say we have a boss pull timer going up, a pull 20. Usually, as Diabolist here, around 15 seconds in, I'm going to cast Rain of Fire. Why do we do that? We do that because it, number one, procs on eyeball from your tier set, and number two, it will start a Demonic Ritual right now. So basically, when the boss is being pulled, I don't know why Soulfire's on cooldown, but start casting it right about now, give or take. Boss is going to be pulled, cast a Soulfire, Infernal, I'll Conflict Rate, and look, my ritual's here. There's my big Demonic Bolt right there of 12 million off the bat. So it can pre-queue a Demonic Art, pre-queue a Demon as Diabolist, and also gets you one stack of your tier set rolling essentially before the pull begins. There's a downside to it where sometimes you get a Soul Conduit refund off the shard you spend in the Rain of Fire pre-combat. It won't regenerate shards quickly. I think if you cast it around 15 or 16 seconds when the boss is pulled, that will give you enough time to regenerate those regardless, but that's why you're seeing Rain of Fire's precast before the boss is pulled. Some people also do summoning Succubus as well, because for some reason the Succubus will also proc a ritual when you summon it versus other pets not doing it. But Succubus does not give you an eyeball. Like your tier set proc, it only gives you the ritual. So precast Rain of Fire as Diabolist, about 16-ish seconds for the boss is pulled. If your guild doesn't do pull timers that long, probably should ask for it because it's not much longer, maybe a couple more seconds than what you should be doing, if that, and it's a pretty decent increase. Having that Demonic Art active, like basically when you're going to pull the boss for your second or first Chaos Bolt being buffed, is huge. It is a large damage increase. Also getting a Demon off the bat, which gives you Ruination procs or Overlord Cleaves or Big Mommy damage, depending on what demon you queued up based on your sequencing, is very, very strong. You can even build upon that more with longer pull timers, which is pretty degen. I'm not going to get too far into that, but that is Demonic Art and why people are precasting Rain of Fire as Diabolist, Destro. Now, the next question I've been getting a lot about crafting and the disc belt, all that stuff is, do I want a belt? Do I wear the disc belt? What do I do? I logged in on Tuesday. My disc belt had reset to not having an ability selected. So if you have that, just check and make sure you have Static Charge selected. You play that everywhere for Warlock. But people have been asking a lot, do I replace my disc belt this patch? The answer for Demonology and Destruction, or sorry, Demonology Affliction is no. If you are Destruction, however, you will want to replace the Delve belt. However, it's not from what I've seen in Sims until like basically a Mythic belt or a good heroic belt with a socket, or sorry, probably like a max hero upgraded belt with a socket, and likely not even good enough. Probably like a Mythic belt with a socket is where you're going to look at replacing that. Obviously, the announcement for Turbo Boost coming in a few weeks, the belt will indeed be getting nerfed at that point, and at that point, you're going to want to have a belt laying around. So if you don't have a belt, get one somewhere. At that point, you can probably just craft one. It'll be probably a month and a half to get there either way, but just pulling up here the actual damage profiles, sim profiles of all three specs here. It's like far as current BIS sims are concerned, we have Affliction right here. If you scroll down to the gear profile, you will indeed see the belt. Disc belt is indeed right there. Very cool. On the waist, if you go to Demonology, gearing, exactly right there. Waist, durable belt. It's playing Lightning Rod. What is it playing? It's playing Lightning Rod. I don't think it's better, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care. But if you go to Destruction, however, which is the spec we're playing basically in the raid everywhere at this current point in time, the belt is indeed, I think, like an honor bound sash. Yeah, wherever this is from. Captain Dale-Cry. I think that's Dawnbreaker. I don't know. But a belt with a socket at Myth is probably where you're going to be, roughly give or take, replacing that. So the disc belt is still very good for Destruction, but at a higher level of the socket, it will indeed be replaced. So keep an eye out for those. I mean, in your vault, if you get a bad one, keep in mind, month and a half, might be needing it when the disc belt gets nerfed. At the same time, if you are looking at like raiding, there's some Mythic belts to drop and nobody wants it, put your hand up. Maybe you'll get it. Now, at the same time, people are asking a lot about embellishments and trinkets. So embellishments, I have a Void Glass Spire. People are asking, why did you make Dawn Thread or Dusk Thread, whatever this is? I made 2 Dusk Thread pieces. I made one of the pieces as my off piece for tier. I have 4 piece here. I made double Dusk Thread. Dusk Thread and Dawn Thread simmed very close for me. If that's the case, I'm going to err on the side of versatility, but both were very, very close. The only reason I am not playing Ascension and Nerubin embellishment to double Ascension is because I looted the Void Glass Staff. Our BIS gear is Void Glass weapon in a one-hand slot, like your main hand, and an offhand. However, if you loot the staff early on, or crafted a staff early on, if you crafted one, you can just put Ascension on it, you know, a few weeks ago. You can make Nerubin embellishment this week on bracers or whatever, right? Which is probably your slot you're going to make it on. If you looted a Void Glass Spire, Void Glass is very, very good. Obviously, very good effect. But you can't put Ascension on it because you didn't craft it. You can't wear an offhand. Ascension only goes on weapons, main hand or offhand. You can't put it anywhere else. So your next best option is going to be making Dawn Thread or Dusk Thread on pieces you can still craft on, which is basically bracers, your off piece of tier, and I guess technically belt at some point, but I wouldn't do that now. I just do bracers. So the reason I did this is because I had the Void Glass Staff with this and this. If I was given a Void Glass Myth weapon week 1 for whatever reason, I would have made an offhand with Ascension and Nerubian on bracers. Ascension's a little better than Dawn Thread and Dusk Thread. This depends a bit on the uptime, if your health is high or low as well, but either way, it's not super complicated. I just didn't loot a Myth dagger or sword. I mean, they drop from like later bosses anyways, and I didn't loot a one-handed Mythic item from my vault either. So there's that. If I had looted a one-hander at Myth level without like Void Glass on it, like from M+, I would have just made an offhand with Ascension and made Nerubian, but I did not. So that's the case we're in. Long term, I'll replace this with a one-handed Void Glass weapon, craft an offhand, and make this Nerubian, but at this current point in time, well, it is what it is. It's still pretty good. Now, building upon this further, it's very brief here, but I do want to mention gems and enchants in your Reshi wraps, because I don't think people are really simming the cloak as much as they should be when acquiring new gear and all that. We mentioned it a million times in the guide videos, everything of the sort as well, but there are no like hard thresholds you want to hit stat-wise, like as a warlock playing your character or whatever. You just need to sim your own character. Everyone's gear varies. I might have, I might have a haste mastery ring. You might have a crit verse one. Everyone's gear varies. Raidbots.com is where you want to go to sim your character for all this stuff. And if you've already used Raidbots for a good while, then hey, you're already ahead of others. I do want to mention though, that when it comes to simulating for gems and enchants, if you're looking to like get like different colored gems slotted in for your, whatever this is called, the meta gem, the Blasphemite, it's worth also, when you're trying to change stats around all that, simming the gem slash fiber, basically a gem in your cloak. This does not count towards this gem, to clarify, just to mention that might make it a little confusing there. This does not interact with this. The cloak gem does not interact with this at all, but this is a very large amount of a certain stat. Crit, haste, mastery, verse. I've seen all four played across Destro for me with various sims. It's very important to remember to sim this as well. Don't leave it out of your sims. If you're simming for gear, like maybe you want to craft crit mastery bracers or whatever, and you have, you know, haste, verse ones on, whatever, it might change what you want to slot in your cloak as far as fibers are concerned. So if you're simming for all that, throw this in there. Might as well see where it goes. Besides that, sims are basically the same across most of the board, and that's that. Trinkets are one thing I want to hit on very briefly here as well, and that is because there's been a couple nerfs to, well, to Lumithar trinket, the whatever it's called, this thing, the astral antenna. Two very small nerfs. However, they have added up to, I think, like 5 or 6% total overall to the crit that a give is being nerfed, and we have seen a bit of a shift, maybe not necessarily a shift, but we've seen other combinations popping up here. Now, it could be a concession to having a mythic diamantine void core versus like a heroic antenna, maybe. Other things in general could be, but we're starting to see more and more Azakari and Parapodias popping up, albeit this is myth, high roll from the vault, with diamantine void cores. Keep in mind, diamantine void core gives more value when you have a void glass weapon. The sword, the dagger, or the staff that I showed you a minute ago on my character, it will basically double the damage of those void glass shards. So having this trinket with the weapon is very good. If you don't have the void glass weapon, this trinket's fine, but it's not going to be like, you know, one of your best options out there. However, we have seen a shift towards it being played a lot more, either in conjunction with Parapodia or with Astral Antenna. Antenna has a way to sim it, where if you are sitting with Antenna, for example here, I have Antenna and a Void Core on. If you scroll down here, they've added an option in raid bots for Astral Antenna mischance. I think like 15 to 20%, I usually do 15, is about where it looks to be in logs more or less. You don't always soak every orb that comes in. Sometimes they just despawn if you're running around a bunch. Sometimes you just miss them. Stuff happens. It is what it is. But simming with this, I think, gives you a more accurate representation of where trinkets might sim for you if you have an antenna being thrown into the mix. Maybe on fights with a lot of movement, things like Forge Weaver, for example. Maybe you want to play a combination of Parapodia and Void Core. But basically, if you're looking at trinkets across the board for Destro and Demo, you're looking basically at some combination of Antenna, Void Core with weapon, and Parapodia. Affliction one's basically one of these with an on-use trinket as well. Like, I mean, Priory is good. Signet, obviously, Eras's Ritual Forge is better, but, you know, not really playing a whole lot of AF in the raid at this point. So those are the big ones you want to keep an eye out for. If you haven't gotten those yet, Jug is still pretty good. Even though it's from last year, it's still pretty strong. Once you get into higher trinket levels here, whether it's like max hero or upgraded, even like 4 out of 6 hero or myth ones, typically one of these three. Okay, so we made a video a few days ago on the Chaos Bolt Diabolist Destruction build in Mythic Plus, and I want to talk about that a little bit more because, honestly, it was just a fun video that I threw up for a Priory run. Didn't think people would like it as much, but it's gotten a lot of attention. I want to elaborate upon that more. So, let me try and find the build here. I mean, it's in here somewhere, I'm sure. Basically, you have Hellcaller and you have Diabolist. Now, Diabolist Destro does bring a lot of passive AoE. Think about his tier stat, the eyeballs. They spawn in, you fling them, they do AoE. You've got the Overlord, Eyeballs, Overlord, Mother of Chaos, and the Pit Lord all coming in doing AoE damage. And you also have the abilities to empower. Ruination, Infernal Bolt being single target, I mean, there's that, but the Overlord also cleaves his big axe. So there's a lot of just passive damage from spending shards as Diabolist Destruction. Being able to spend shards on Chaos Bolt, funneling a Prio Mob down, or even like a boss and single target, obviously. You know, good single target from Destro there. But a Prio Mob in a pack and spawning in a lot of that passive cleave damage from your tier set, from demons. All of that is very strong. However, when it comes to comparing it to Hellcaller, I do think, it's French confirmed here and such as well, Hellcaller is the better spec or build of Destro when it comes to the majority of keys. The Diabolist build is still very strong, very solid, and it's probably you can make a case for it being the better, like, mid-tier 10, 11, 12 average pug spec for Destro over Hellcaller. But the higher you go, the more you pull around Infernal. It's the same thing for the last 10 seasons. It's Destro. The more you pull around Infernal, the bigger AoE. Cataclysm applies a million withers. It's not target capped. You can go and drop a Kata on a 20+ pack pull or whatever, pop Malevolence, throw your Infernal down, cast a million Rain of Fires, which fuels Black and Soul damage, which is what Hellcaller is built around, Malevolence, Infernal, and do insane damage, right? But in dungeons like Dawnbreaker, dungeons like Streets, that's not always what you encounter. Funny enough, the top run through here on Warcraft logs is actually a Hellcaller one, but most of the dungeons you see sprinkled, Diabolist sprinkled into you is Dawnbreaker, is Streets. There's still Hellcaller in here, but because they're more like single target focused dungeons, right? Here's Looney Storm. He cranks, does a lot of M+ stuff from what I've seen in the past as well. For example, here's his Streets of Wonder. Damage breakdown, he has 411 Chaos Bolt cast and only 15 Rain of Fires. Now, from what I understand, from what I've read a little bit, I haven't looked into it a whole lot, but I believe 8 or more targets is where Rain of Fire is, I guess, a gain for this build either way. But chances are high, even in those settings, you're going to throw some Rain of Fires and still end up casting a lot of Chaos Bolts to funnel down the prio mob in that pack. I mean, bolt damage is spread throughout this key. It's just your spender. Right? It's a lot of damage. The build builds a lot of passive cleave through its tier set, through its demons, through Diabolists and stuff. It's just good. It's solid all around. But is it like the better version of Destro when it comes to the higher end stuff, getting into 17, 18, 19 key range? I think it's still Hellcaller. You can see for the majority of keys, it looks to be as well. There's some play here in Gambit as well. Towards the end of Gambit, you get more prio damage as well, but the start's pretty rough with a lot of AoE. But either way, if you like the build, it's fun. It's solid. I don't think you'll see it as much in the high end in like the majority of keys, but if you like it, enjoy it, it's good. The build's right here, had it in the last video as well. Rotationally, like I said, I mean, you're only casting Rain of Fire, I believe, at 8+ targets. I actually played Power Overwhelming or Chaos Incarnate over PO. I think some play both and opt to not play something up here, but a couple of different versions floating around. But either way, the build's good. Honestly, it's fun, it's solid, and yeah, if you haven't tried it, I would encourage you to give it a shot. And the last thing that I want to talk about today is, will Destruction Warlock be nerfed? This video is coming out on Friday, so I guess the question is, will they announce Destruction Warlock nerfs today? I don't think they should, and I don't think they need to, but I'll elaborate upon that even more. So when it comes to raid statistics, even going way back to older raids, multiple expansions ago, statistics are often very skewed at times based on certain fights, certain things. Look at Destro in last raid, the Goblin Land, whatever it was, right? Very good on Bandit, good on Muggsy, and it was pretty high in overall rankings when it came to stats and stuff, comparatively what you saw in a lot of fights. This raid tier as well, you can go to 95th percentile, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Destro's pretty high. However, I know this is grossly inflated by this current tier, one fight. So I've done an all class. This is all classes here. This is not like a lock or hunter only filter. It looks like it should be a hunter only filter because hunters are pretty good here, but we're going to scroll through and see what fights warlocks are dominating. Spoilers, there's only one. A hunter. I mean, Sentinel, you get a mix of Hunter, Arcane, Feral. It's an AUG here, Lord have mercy. Hunters, Destro's doing fine on Lumathar. It's a good Destro fight. A lot of Havoc Cleave on the walls to spawn in every so often. Hunter doing pretty good as well, but this is like a good Destro fight. We said it would be from PTR. It gets good Diabolist damage and single target on the boss. When the ad spawns in, it lines up with every single Havoc window. So you get Havoc Cleave every single time it comes off cooldown, a wall spawning in. It's just a good Destro fight, but it's not a wall of Destro locks here. If you open up even more, there's more Destro, sure. There's Hunters, there's Shamans, there's Mages, there's a Furry Druid, there's a handful of classes here. It's not a wall of Destro like people think it is. There's a Warrior here too, right? It's not a wall of Destro. And if you go back to this, Soulbinder, there's no Warlocks, albeit Windwalker is pretty wild in their AoE build. There's a couple of demo parses in here that they're doing relatively well, but it's not this wall of Destro like people are thinking it, like people are saying that it is. Not at all. The fight that is skewing stats a lot, though, is Soul Hunters. Araz, it's fine. Shadow's doing better. Arcane's doing better. Destro is the better spec in this fight progression overall, but Avs are doing okay as well. Is there a wall of locks? No. The fight that's skewing everything is Soul Hunters. And it is also the only fight this tier that we play Hellcaller Destro on with the Shadowburn, well, I guess a Shadowburn build, due to how this fight is structured. There's no Diabolist here. You're hitting Shadowburn on cooldown. That's sort of how old Shadowburn was, or last few patches when you hit it on cooldown. Because of this fight, it's permanent 3 targets. Hellcaller Destruction is the best dot spec Warlock has right now, which is crazy to say in the first place because you have AF, but you're not playing AF in this fight, you're playing Destro because Black and Soul and Wither, when it comes to these Council Cleave settings, even an M+ on the high end, it just does a lot of damage honestly probably too much, right? You can generate ludicrous Blackened Soul stacks with the tier set, Malevolence, Shadowburn cast, on cooldown 3 targets, Mayhem's proc rate is super high. If you jump in here and look at the RNG of these pulls, this top log here, let's see. Buffs, they had a... Oh, they got Ebonite too. We love this game. A 91% rolling Havoc uptime. This is basically the entire fight they were cleaving. The whole fight. And this is pure RNG. When we killed this last night, I had 51%. So it's a mix of like Mayhem RNG, but a lot of it is also just Blackened Soul damage. If you pull up the actual breakdown here of their damage, 50% is Wither. And 40% is Blackened Soul. And then if you go past there, past Soul Hunters as well. I mean, I don't think there's even another class than top 100 here, right? It's all Destros. There's a couple, it's a DK or two. It's just Destro, right? I mean, and if you scroll past this, Fractalist, it's Hunters. There's a Furry Druid again. And if you go even further, there's other classes too. Shamans, Warriors. There's not even a Warlock in the top 100 here. Maybe Metro's here, getting 10 PIs. Sorry, Metro. But it's Demolock too, actually pretty cool. Demo's bugged in this fight. But either way, Lock is not in this dominating state people think it is. It's very, very good on Demon Hunters, but it's not, it's solid everywhere else. But it's not in the world of where we need to come in and aura nerf the spec. It's not at all. So Blizz has been actually pretty good with tuning, like as far as nerfs are concerned over the past few patches, I believe, thinking back, barring the AF nerf that was diabolical during the race. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, AF's been really good this tier. Yeah, but either way, if they're gonna come in and nerf Destro, Demo and AF, they're fine. No nerfs. Buff AF back to where it was. I'm seeing play. You come in and you likely target Blackened Soul. Blackened Soul's a Hellcaller only thing. This is the only fight Lock is dominating right now, and it's the only fight you play Hellcaller on. With Mayhem, with Blackened Soul. You don't aura nerf Destro. Destro is like, when Dimensions gets mixed in more, like on Mythic and things, you're gonna see like it dropping more and more as well. Like, let's go to a fight here. Like Dimensius. Warlock's terrible. Destro's terrible. Go to Nexus King. It's good here. Arcane's here, Ellie's here, Frost is here, Marks is here, Fury is here. Go to Fractussi. Middle of the pack. Go to Demon Hunters. They're dominating. Let's go to Araz. It's good. Af's up there too. Not dominating. Go to Soulbinder. Middle of the pack. It's actually below middle of the pack. Demo's higher. Lumathar. It's good. Don't get me wrong. Good fight for Destro. Certain classes should have good fights for their damage profile every tier. This is one of them. Great. Cool. Not dominating. Sentinel. Probably, yeah, there's a handful of classes up here. And we're all like, whatever. So if we're going to nerf Destro, we need to target specifically what it is. Don't aura nerf Destro. If you're going to hit it, you come in and you hit probably Blackened Soul, maybe like something else with like cleave stuff. Probably is Blackened Soul and Wither. But honestly, look back at last year with the dinosaur boss, Cauldron Carnage. Destro dominated that too. Did it get nerfed? No. I don't think you really even need the nerf. I think Warlock's overall like dominance is incredibly overstated right now. And if you're a Marks Hunter, or Ellie Shaman, or Fire Mage, they're cranking too, and they're loving hearing that, oh, Lock, so great, nerf them, because they're getting away with murder right now. So if you're gonna nerf Destro, probably just nerf Blackened Soul or something. Don't aura nerf respect, please. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Wrap setup. Hopefully the video wasn't too long. There's a lot of like little things I wanted to cover in this video. I haven't made many since I got back home from the race world first, but there hasn't really been a whole lot to make videos on. I want to make some boss guy videos this tier, but honestly, the first 5 or 6 bosses just die really fast, and Demon Hunters is miserable. I don't want to watch it fight any more than I have to. But I did want to cover a lot in this video, so hopefully it was helpful to y'all. Hopefully you had some questions. I'm going to answer them for y'all. And yeah, hopefully you guys liked the video. If you want any week horrors or add-ons or profiles on the video, Twitch, Discord links all up here, as well as down below in the description where you can get it for free. At the same time, thank you, all my supporters on Patreon, like always. Thank you all a million times. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys are looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the description. And yeah, thanks, guys. Also, I didn't mention this in the video at all, but there's a distinct possibility of Alpha hitting next week. There's a rumor going around that it's coming next week. Could be wrong. I don't know. But we're not even on the last boss in the raid yet. And Alpha's heading for the new expansion, possibly. If it doesn't, then hey, it is what it is. But if you're looking for Alpha stuff, keep your eyes open. It could be hitting next week. And if it does, we got a lot to cover here. So, yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully y'all are too. If you like the video, hit the like and sub button below. Helps out a ton. We're almost at 100K. We're very close, which is insane. And I appreciate it, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all again soon on stream. Peace.